Jim Graham and Dave Sadler here for Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks. On the line, we have a very special guest joining us. He is the Detroit superstar, Daron Cruickshank. Daron, thanks for coming back on Beyond the Cage.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Now, we last talked to you back in January, so what have you been up to these past few months?
I fought Mike Rio. I'm getting ready to fight Eric Koch at UFC Fight Night 40 in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's May 10th. So that's basically my next venture.
Since you're in the middle of your training camp, were you able to enjoy the Easter holiday?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm really after Easter is when I have to start cutting a lot of my food down and stuff like that. So I got to eat, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But back to work, being Monday, Tuesday,
How have things been at your team over there in Dearborn at Michigan Top Team?
It's going well. It's starting to build the because we've only been open 7 months now, so starting to build it up and getting some good fighters in there and one big happy family.
Hey, Daron, at your last fight at Fox 8 in Chicago, did you feel like you could finish that fight a little sooner?
There's always opportunities. I feel like, there's a few ways I could have finished it in the first round, but, Mike's tough and he survives it, and, you gotta give him, a little, respect for that.
In that fight, were you surprised at all that Rio wasn't pushing so hard for the takedown against you?
I feel like being that he was, on a 2-fight loss, and I feel like he had to, not fight safe and try to, bang with me and put on a show just to keep his contract. But being that, he didn't, he lost it. So, sorry, Mike.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, Mike. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
When you threw the spinning back, towards Rio's face, did you think that was going to end it?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it connected. It was a little long, and that's why I don't think it put him down, but it for sure, was, helped me put him down, right? Your
training camp thus far for, the fight coming up, have you been outside of Michigan at all for this training camp?
No, I've been, my last couple of fights I've been getting ready for, right here in Michigan. So, I'm finding, good training partners to go with and different styles. I do travel quite a bit, different gyms in Michigan and get with different guys here. I feel like Michigan has a really high potential for talent. We just, haven't had the opportunity for our guys to, show what they got.
I know, Daron, speaking of the talent in Michigan, that Uriah Faber had that MMA draft combine here in Michigan. I know you were kind of a part of it, and I was just wondering, how did that event go down, and what did you see when you were there?
Well, there's a lot of guys that got to show what they had. I actually don't think they're done crunching the numbers and seeing who did what on what test. I'm pretty sure that it's going to take a while. There's a big showing, so waiting to get those numbers back to see what happened. But there's quite a few guys that showed up, and I got to do some of the testing guys for like striking and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Daron, I was looking through some of your past fights and basically your entire fight career, and it seems like a lot of your fights have been Midwestern, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, that type of area. And I'm wondering, since you've been in the UFC and including your time on Tough, like when you were in the Tough House, you fought in front of your teammates and a handful of people. You fought in Brazil. You fought in Chicago. Do you have a preference of a hometown crowd, being the bad guy in Brazil, fighting in front of nobody? Do you have a preference at all?
I do like having a support system, and that's always nice. So it's, it's always nice to have a support system. But, I'm not, I don't not want to go places, but I like having everybody there.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to start talking about the fight in Cincy. Will you drive down to that fight?
Yeah, I'm driving. I drove to Chicago too.
Cool. I bet the UFC's proud of that. They don't have to pay you to fly there.
I like to drive because I take a lot of crap with me, you know, so it's nice to have it all with me and, you know, instead of loading it all up on the airplane and all that stuff.
Right. If I was on your flight, I'd be mad if I had to sit next to all of your training equipment. That'd be terrible.
Right, yeah.
We're like 2 weeks out from your fight. How's the weight looking?
Weight's going good. You know, starting to get it off. It's, I mean, slowly. It's a work in progress, but you know, it's coming. It's coming.
But that's what I tell my wife too, Daron. I'm losing weight slowly but surely. Just don't worry about it. It's coming off. It's coming off.
Yeah.
All right. Your fight coming up in Cincinnati. That is the first time that you'll be on the main card.
Yeah. Excited about that.
How's that make you feel, man?
It's huge. It's a good feeling for sure. I mean, you know, just climbing up the ladder, tough fight coming up. I'm glad they put me on the main card. More viewers to see what I can do and a little more pressure on me. I like that.
Jim Graham and Dave Sadler talking with the Detroit superstar Daron Cruickshank here on Beyond the Cage. And with your fight being on the main card, Daron, you said it's a little more pressure, but do you also feel pressure to put on a good show?
Right, exactly. And, you know, I feel like I do well under pressure. So I'm excited.
Your opponent at UFC Fight Night 40 is Eric Koch, who has 11 of his 14 career victories by finish. Is he a guy that you have to be careful with in any type of situation?
Yeah, he's dangerous everywhere. You know, he reminds me of myself. But, you know, I'm not going to take him lightly. I'm going to go after him and put the pressure on him and, you know, see where that goes.
Now, Eric Koch, he's only fought once in the UFC at 155 pounds. Previously, he fought at 145. Do you think that fact gives you any sort of advantage heading into the fight against him?
I mean, I'm you know, I'm pretty sure he's got fights outside of the UFC at 55. You know, I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference as far as me having more fights at 55. He's a big dude, and that's why he's going up. You know, he was having trouble making weight at 45 and not performing at his best, and that's why he went up. So, you know, it's going to be a tough fight no matter what. And I just got to show up and put on a good show, and it'll go my way.
Since your fight is in Cincinnati, you mentioned that you'll be driving there yourself. Is it safe to say you'll have a lot of friends and family in the stands for this one down there? Oh
yeah, I think I have like 30 or 40 people going. There should be a nice after party after it. It'll be fun.
Hey, I heard in the background, and clearly you're at the gun range. What are you shooting?
I'm at Livingston Gun Club in Brighton, Michigan. I'm actually with one of my buddies, Craig Funk, who owns Funk Fitness in Brighton. We're getting ready for a 3-gun match this weekend, which is rifle, pistol, shotgun, and we're just testing some stuff out. Right now he's running his AR-15.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I wanted to throw that in there so the people were wondering what those loud noises were when you were trying to answer questions.
Yeah,
I knew what it was.
That's the AR-15 in the back.
That's the sound of Daron punching someone in the head. That's how hard he hits.
Right. Yeah.
Now, for your last fight, Daron, we talked about your walkout music, and you kind of mentioned fans were throwing out different suggestions to you, and you ended up coming out to Trace Adkins against Mike Rio, and I was wondering what you had planned for this one in Cincinnati.
Oh, I got a good one planned. It's a classic. I actually don't want to tell you so that way you listen, but you're going to be very surprised. I've never heard anybody come out to this song, and I was actually at a little blues bar downtown Detroit, and I heard this guy sing it on stage, and it was awesome. So I asked him what song it was, and so that's where it's coming from.
Well, that's awesome. I look forward to hearing it on May 10th. And speaking of May 10th, the main event of that card is Matt Brown against Eric Silva, and I was wondering if you had a pick for that one.
Well, I actually met Matt Brown a couple months ago. He was in Detroit doing a meet and greet thing. for the UFC. So I got to know him a little bit. He's a nice dude. So hopefully, he takes the fight.
And one last question for you. Of course, you went to the Arnold this year. Dave and I were down there once again in Columbus, Ohio, and I was wondering what sort of stuff did you get into at the Arnold this year down in Columbus?
Oh, I got crazy at the Columbus. I went to every booth. I went to this one booth. It was a bunch of hot Brazilian girls, and they were selling spandex for women. I actually bought a pair of spandex to wear in practice to make my legs look like the Hulk. There's a bunch of pictures on Instagram. But yeah, I got crazy there. I enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun.
He is Daron Cruickshank. You can follow him on Twitter and see some of those colorful photos at Cruickshank155. And Daron, thanks again for coming on, and also thanks again for signing a couple photos. As fans know, if they go to our Facebook page, they have a chance to win a couple of signed photos from you just for listening to Beyond the Cage. So thanks again for that, and good luck to you on your fight on May 10th.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me anytime, and hopefully some nice fans get those pictures. So have a good one.
Once again, that was Daron Cruickshank right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Fight Chicks.